All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. The Sacramento Kings have won 3 straight games after an 0-4 start. Yesterday was very special for Kings fans because they took down the Golden State Warriors. And honestly, in the last couple of years, recent history, that hasn't happened too much. So I'm loving the Sacramento Kings right now. They actually have a top 10 offense, number 7 to be specific. They are the 5th most scoring offense. And right now, it really is just... they're building the momentum. You got to get the defense right. Mike Brown said it is going to be a work in progress, right? But you're 26 right now, so you're definitely one of the worst 5 teams as far as defensive rating goes. But if you're 6-6 and you just took down the Cleveland Cavaliers, you just took down the Los Angeles Lakers, you just took down the Golden State Warriors, the defending champions, well, I'd feel pretty good. All right, literally, they're 6-6, and every game except one pretty much has been competitive. Every single game. 2 of those games in the first 10 of the season, they lost by controversies, and in both cases, the NBA, they have that stupid, they do, the final 2 minutes, they post it on Twitter, oh yeah, we got this call wrong, we got that call wrong, we also got that call wrong. That happened twice in Kings losses in the first 10 games, where the Kings really should have won those games. So, with an 0-4 start, 6-6, this is a much different Sacramento Kings team, as being led by a cat named De'Aaron Fox, who we all are familiar with, but he's been flying below the radar severely the last couple of seasons, just because Sacramento, their last winning season was when they made the playoffs all the way back in 2005, 2006. The culture is brewing. It's brewing in Sacramento. So before we get any further into this video, if you guys enjoy it, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. I post a bunch of NBA content. I posted a ton of Kings videos at the start of the season and this past summer. I got to get back on track here. So show some love down below, Sacramento, if you guys enjoy it. And yeah, let's just get into it. So De'Aaron Fox is putting up 25.5 points, 5 rebounds, 6 assists, 1.3 steals. But what's even cooler, man, is he's shooting 55% from the field. It's very efficient. He's shooting 37.5% from downtown. His mid-range, his pull-up, they're all going down at a very high level. And if it wasn't for, at times, the lack of defensive intensity from De'Aaron, I honestly would say he would be in the MVP candidate. I guess also Sacramento is 6-6. But the future for Sacramento is, they started getting there last year. Right, you bring in a new head coach, you bring in some cats, Kevin Huerter, Malik Monk. You made that trade for Sabonis last year at the deadline. You draft Keegan Murray, who we'll talk about in a second. He's been really struggling on the road, but Keegan Murray is struggling as far as efficiency goes. He's still giving me 13 points a night. He's putting up some solid defensive statistics, over a steal a game, just about a block a night. He's played 11 games in his NBA career. So if this is, and we've seen plenty of flashes of Keegan, in Summer League, in preseason, and we've seen a couple in the first 11 games from him. But, I have a feeling that Keegan, especially once we get closer to the All-Star break, but especially once we get into, March-ish, February-ish, that's when I think Keegan's going to really start ramping it up at a high effective level. And, I have Sacramento definitely in the play-in hunt, regardless of how the next couple of months go. I think they're going to be in the play-in hunt at least. They should. I think they'll make the play-in tournament, but they should be around the hunt regardless. I think Keegan's going to be a very vital piece to, just how low of a seed could they get to once we get into those last couple of months, once he's had a couple of games, a couple of months of just NBA experience under his wings. Now, Sabonis started the season a little bit slow as far as offense goes. He's not shooting threes. We haven't seen Sabonis shoot threes in a while, but I don't think the Kings got him from Indiana as far as what he can shoot from downtown. But he's given me 18 points, 11.3 rebounds, 6.3 assists, about a steal a night. He's shooting efficiently at a 56% field goal clip. So, just like a lot of these cats, the more reps they get, especially as a team, they're running this 9-man rotation. You have Terrence Davis kind of, I guess, on the outside looking in. He's like their 10th guy. He'll come in sometimes depending on the vibe of the game, or rotations or defense or offense, whatever happens. Terrence Davis is kind of right there. But they're running a 9-man rotation, and the more reps that these guys get, because Mike Brown, has really started to narrow in this rotation, right? We had Maytu start the first 3 games of the season. We saw Rashawn Holmes actually getting, around 20 minutes a night to start off the season as well, and their defense fell to crap. I mean, it was horrible. I believe Sacramento, I actually have it right here, they're only getting 3.5 blocks a night. That is the second worst. Somehow there's a team getting less than 3.5 blocks as a team a night, but it's Miami, if you're curious. Their defense was suffering. Their paint defense was suffering in the first couple of games, and so Holmes is kind of getting pushed out here. He's owed a ton of money for the next couple of seasons, so I'm interested to see what they figure out with that. But Maytu also was getting a bunch of starts, or 3 starts, I should say. Harrison Barnes is one of those guys where I really love Harrison, but I honestly think that Sacramento might look to go in a different direction. It's not like he's crazy old or anything like that, but especially the way he's playing, it's kind of hard to constitute keeping him for the duration of his contract. I mean, he's giving me, 10.9 points a night. He's shooting 41% from the field, and he's shooting 23% from downtown. We know Harrison Barnes is kind of your classic 3-and-D player, and he's just not giving Sacramento really anything right now as far as defense. But I would expect him and Harrison Barnes, if somebody would take them, I bet Kings fans would be open to that. Let me know what you guys are thinking about Harrison Barnes and Rashawn Holmes. But those are really the only 2 bad spots with this team right now that I can think of outside of just team defense. Kevin Huerter was a huge pickup. He's shooting 51% from downtown, and he's got 17 points a night. You heard that correctly. Kevin Huerter, 17 points a night. The Kevin Huerter addition, I think, might have been, obviously, there was a Rudy Gobert, 5 first-round picks. Kevin Huerter might have been the best move that nobody knows about, really, this past season. I feel like Hawks and Kings fans are really the only 2 guys that realize just how valuable and just how good Kevin Huerter is. Actually, he's like that guy. First off, he's not afraid to shoot anything. At any point in the game, he will shoot. If you want a game winner, Kevin Huerter is going to be like, give me the damn ball, and he'll make them. The loss of Kevin from Atlanta, they're really pissed off about that. I know a bunch of Hawks fans, and they're really pissed off about that just simply because they didn't want to pay the luxury tax. It was a huge, huge get for Sacramento, and you've seen it so far in the first 12 games of the season for them. Same thing applies for Malik Monk. We've actually seen Malik close out a couple of these games as he should. He's giving you 36.5% from downtown, and he's giving you 12 points along with 4.5 assists. Malik Monk, 4.5 assists. So shout out to that. Davion Mitchell, really solid defensive piece. He's getting about 20 minutes a night. He's shooting 35% from downtown, giving me 12 points a night. They're just, Trey Lyles as well. They're a lot deeper than I think people are really giving them credit for. Like I said, 9-man rotation. You kind of have a little bit of a 10th guy there in Terrence Davis, but I'm curious to see what they're going to decide to do with Harrison Barnes. Harrison Barnes, I would be more susceptible to keeping him just because, last year, he's a great 3-point shooter and he's a really solid defender. And like I said, it's not like he's all that old. But I think a contending team maybe is going to be looking at a guy like Harrison Barnes and give me that. We'll see what happens, but I think the Rashawn Holmes experiment is as unideal as it is. The way Trey Lyles has been playing, I think the experiment might just be over. Not even the experiment. I think just, the Rashawn Holmes time. I think it might have just come to an end. They are that bad defensively. I should have written down the statistic when he's out there. I think it was minus 35 or something like that in just 100 minutes. Something. It was something abysmal when Rashawn Holmes was out there as the starting center, or just as the center in general. We'll see what happens. That defense, I think, my hope for Sacramento is definitely to get inside the top 20. If you have a top 10 offense, that is beautiful. And if you can just get your defense in between, I think 15 to 20 is very realistic, and I think that's something that they are trying to push for. But if for some reason, or not for some reason, if things really start to click, and they could click because they're very well coached, you'll see guys like you'll see Keegan get pulled, you'll see Darren Fox get pulled when they make stupid mistakes, especially on defense. I really like how tight of a ship that he's running out there. if Sacramento kept up as a top 10 offense and they got their defense up to top 15, well, you're probably looking at a top 6 team as good as the Western Conference is. There's a lot of hope. There's a lot of potential going on in Sacramento. And the good news is they're 6-6 right now. They start off 0-4. This isn't the end. It's not like it's all or nothing, championship or bust this season for Sacramento. Things are just getting started for them. So that's it for today. Hit the like button, hit that sub button. If you want more Kings talk, go ahead, show some love down below. And also, guys, I really want to hear your thoughts on the Harrison Barnes and Rashawn Holmes situation. So let me know what you're thinking down below.